Hello and welcome to the latest episode of my Knitting and Creative podcast. My name on Instagram is Orchis Heart and I'm coming to you from Birmingham, England. Hope you're all doing well. This is a slightly impromptu setup deciding to record today, so I'm hoping everything's okay. But my last couple of videos have been a bit different, and so I thought I would do like a short, quick, fairly standard knitting and sewing podcast check-in, catch up, because I've been knitting a bit. In truth, I've not been knitting as much as I used to, because toddler life, it's been very busy, I've been working. Previous to this, I had a period of quite intense, constant illnesses, so I did have quite a lot of time off work, not being very well, and so I was knitting a bit then, but then not very much because I was very ill quite often. But you know, normal life has resumed a little, so that's been good. And so I've knitted a little bit. And so I kind of thought I would share what I've been working on. Fortunately, I've just realised I've left one of my sewing projects upstairs, so I won't be able to share that so much this time. I was going to do like minimal editing on this video, / maybe none at all. So I'm not going to say I will stick in a photo because I might not. We'll see. But it was a pair of, I'll talk about that in a bit. I'm all over the place. This is what happens when you record a bit spontaneously. But I am using my new camera and my microphone, so I'm hoping that the audio quality is good and the video quality is nice. You can see that there are some birthday cards and bunting up. I moved some of the birthday cards down that were behind me, so it was slightly less visual clutter. But I didn't want to take everything down because, I'm still enjoying my son's birthday celebrations. He just had his 2nd birthday. So, yeah. Anyway, enough blabbering. The main finished object, the only finished object I have to share, talking about 2nd birthdays, is this fellow. So one of the reasons why I haven't really done a knitting podcast lately is because I've been working on 2 gift knits mostly, and this is one of them. He has no name, but he was a free knitting pattern on Ravelry, which I've shared previously, but I will link again below, that I did make a bit of a change. I think it said it recommended a needle size and a yarn weight, and I think maybe it was an Aran weight pattern, I'm not sure, but I did DK, so either DK weight or 4-ply held double, and I think I did 3.5mm needles, and I knit the snout a bit longer because I knew that I would stitch up the snout from the inside. I didn't like their tongue situation. I think it was like braided yarn with a knot tied in the end, and I didn't like the way that looked. So I made a tongue out of red felt, and then I turned the snake inside out, put it in and stitched it, and then turned it the right way out. I also bought plastic safety eyes. I mean, this will be a test of how this thing focuses, to be honest. And put those in, which I think made it look a little bit more professional. I think they might have embroidered eyes. So the only thing I actually bought for this project were the eyes, which were £2. So it was a very cheap present, but it took a long time. So he's quite big. I didn't really know how long to go. Where I've like alternated or changed colours, there is a bit of a ladder. Don't know if you can see, but my 2-year-old doesn't care. And I try and lie it in a way where you can't see that. So I really like it. My son has mixed feelings. When I gave it to him on his birthday, he looked at me and went, "No, like." I was like, well, I could not compete with the vintage Duplo digger set that we also gave him. So I'm not surprised, Duplo, diggers, knitted snake, fine. But I really enjoy the way it looks on his bedroom wall, and if I can be bothered to edit this video and insert photos, I will stick a photo of it on his bedroom wall, because it looks really cute curled around his hooks. And he did get it down the other day and have a bit of a cuddle with it. So, I kind of feel like it's something he might like as he gets a bit older. He has only recently got into cuddling things, so it was a bit of a gamble. But I might sometimes put it in his bed and see if that helps. But yeah, I'm kind of thinking it'll be in his room for quite a few years to come. Yeah. My partner said, can we stick it in front of the door and use it as a draft excluder? And I said, absolutely not, it will get shredded. So the whole snake is made from real wool. There's scraps and leftovers from various different projects. And then I've stuffed it with some, sadly, polyester toy filling. But someone was throwing this bag of polyfill away. And I said, no, I will have it, because I go through phases of making toy animals. If you followed me a long time, I went through quite an intense phase of making tiny teddy bears and like mice and things. I don't know, there's something about when I'm really stressed and anxious, making an animal makes me feel a bit better. So I haven't made any for a while, which is strange because I have been quite stressed and anxious off and on. But I guess I don't have the time really to indulge that desire as much as I used to. So this has fulfilled that somewhat. I mean, I'm not a snake person. I made this for my son rather than for myself. But I think he was really cute, and he was a really easy, mindless project. Like, there's a bit of shaping around the head, really not very much. A bit on the end of the tail, again, really not very much. And then that's it. So it was a nice, easy project, which I kind of needed over the last few weeks. So you can't really see him, but he's going to sit on the table and hang out with us. I nearly woke my son up trying to get this out of his bedroom to share with you guys, because he is asleep, so you might hear some snoring in the background. And he did wake up when I went in to get it and went, Mama. I was like, oh no, I wanted to record this video. And now I'm not going to be able to. But it sounds like he has gone back to sleep, so that is a good thing. Because I'm also hoping to get a good 20 minutes in of knitting afterwards, once I finish this. And my other main project over the last few weeks, which I have shared, but I've made good progress on. Let me just check whether this is the front or the back. Is a stick season. Now it's going to be hard to show you because it's quite big. By Creabea. So that's the yoke. So I think I was, part way through the body last time. I've now done the body. I've done some ribbing on the bottom. I've done the neckband, and now I've started my first sleeve. So this is for my partner. He's turning 40 in a couple of weeks, 3 weeks at time of recording. And so I, in theory, have 3 weeks to knit 2 sleeves, which I think if I really put my nose to the ground, I could do. But I'm not going to force myself. If it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Because, it's an August birthday. It's been like one of the hottest summers ever at the moment. So I don't think he'll be wearing it anytime soon anyway. So you know what, if it's not finished the night before his 40th birthday, I will wrap up what I've done with the needles attached, and he can open it and then I will take it back and carry on. There isn't anything complicated left to do. It has a really nice sort of rib detail. I don't know how well you can see that on camera. Under the arm that kind of continues around the sleeve and down, and it's got a bit of a Gansey style to it. I've explained to him what a Gansey is, and he now wants me to design one for him and knit that. So I'm like, well, okay, maybe for your 50th. I don't know. I know he would really like to have a bespoke, unique Gansey jumper. So I will slowly start thinking about that. It isn't something that I desperately want to do. Knitting a man's jumper, especially for my very tall and long is the same thing. He's very slim and very long partner. I haven't really had the enthusiasm to knit him a jumper because I felt like it would take forever because he's so long. But this has been okay. It hasn't been as bad as I thought it would be. So that might give me the motivation to do that. But I think maybe I would do the Gansey Aran weight, which I think is quite standard. The only thing is when you're buying that much Aran weight wool, it does start to get quite expensive. And I know that he would definitely prefer to have a British wool, not something generic. And I would definitely want it to be 100% non-superwash wool. So that does start to get a bit expensive. This is the DK British wool by Woolly Knit, and I bought 2 cones and they were £24 a cone. And I still have 140 grams left and I've knit all of this. So I'm starting to think that 1 cone might have been enough, which does kind of annoy me because that means I'll have a whole cone of dark blue yarn left, which I don't personally like. So I can't knit myself a jumper. I thought his jumper would take a cone and a half, and then I'd use half a cone to make a jumper for my son to match, because there is a children's version of this pattern too. But I don't want to break into a whole cone of yarn just to knit my son a matching jumper. So I'm going to have to think of something to do with the rest of this blue yarn. I mean, my partner's not going to want 2 dark blue jumpers. So I don't know, I could knit my son a dark blue jumper in every year and size from here until the end of time. Exaggeration. I could do that. It's just a bit annoying because they were £24. That's not like, it's not that expensive, but it's also not that cheap. So, and if I do stash it, I wouldn't get that money back. So, I don't know. And I don't think anybody that I'm friends with locally would want to buy it at the, you know, the price I paid for it either. So, that is a shame. It would have been nice if I could swap it for another colour, because I wouldn't mind one in a rust colour or something. But I don't want one in dark blue. And I also wouldn't want all 3 of us to match. So, yeah, the ribbing does keep flipping up, but I'm hoping once it's blocked that will stop. We shall see. So, yeah, I'm on sleeve knitting mission at the moment, which, to be honest, is quite good because we're having quite tired times at the moment. It's been a very intense couple of weeks. So, yeah, and it's going to have to go into a bigger bag soon. It's pretty much filling this one now, which I think is pretty good going. You know, I've got a men's jumper in this bag, and it's not her biggest bags. This is by Knitting Nelly. I have 2 of her bags, which is a major treat. She's based in America and I'm based in England. But I managed to pick them up when I was over in America. The 2 times that I've been in my adult life. Mood. So that is my major focus at the moment. But I did cast on something new a couple of weeks ago, because a couple of weeks ago I got to do something really exciting and really lovely. I went to go see the exhibition of the Outlander TV show costumes before they go to auction. They exhibited the costumes in Edinburgh, and then they announced they were going to exhibit them in London. Now, very hard for me to take a day off and go and do something just for me because of my son, because I'm the one that's primarily looking after him whilst this house renovation is going on. But long, complicated reasons, our nursery occasionally has like bonus extra free days that we can use, which we've technically paid for, but we don't end up using them because of bank holidays and things like that. And so we can book them when it suits us and they've got availability. And so I saw that this exhibition was going to be up. And so I booked him in on using one of my freebie days on a Friday in July so that I could then go to London for the day. So I could go see the exhibition. So I was going to have a day out to myself, like it's an hour or 2 on the train there, an hour or 2 on the train back. I was planning to sit in a cafe for a little bit on my own. And so I thought, I don't want to be mindlessly knitting a giant snake or something like that, or do I want to carry that around in London? So I want to cast on something interesting just for me. So a few months ago, I knit a poet scarf. Well, it's probably a year ago now, actually. A poet scarf by Sari Nordland in Woollenflower's Twig, held double, in this beautifully dyed blue. Like, she naturally dyes. This is indigo. And it is a linen silk wool blend. It's a lace weight yarn, so I held it double. And so I bought another skein of that yarn in this like earthy, warm grey colour. So my shirt is like cool grey. This is a warm grey. And so I cast it on. And I got this far. So this is the first chart that I did in, I mean, to be honest, 3 hours. That's not great, is it? But I enjoyed doing it. I don't know how well you can see. Does it focus? I don't know if it does or not. I don't know how good the focusing is. Do I have to cover my face up? I'm messing around. I won't know until I put it on the computer. But I kind of realised when I was doing it, I suspect I went down a needle size for this one, and I was going to compare. I mean, I definitely did, because this lace looks a lot chunkier than this one. And so part of me was thinking, like, is this a mistake? Am I wasting my time? Because I really like this. Am I going to need to rip this out and knit it on a smaller needle size? So I have a feeling I probably knit this on 2.75 needles, and this has been knit on 3.5. Because there is a big difference in sizing. Can you see? Don't know how well you can see that. So I don't know, or is it just going to be a different garment, you know? Like, am I going to knit this one? So for this one, I did an extra repeat before on each side before decreasing. So it's bigger than the one that they suggested. But sorry, it's the wrong way around. But maybe it's not bigger because it's on smaller needles. I don't know. So I can wind this around my neck twice. I mean, I've not done that very well, but especially with the shirt microphone situation. So yeah, I don't know. Part of me is thinking maybe I'll rip it out and start again. I enjoyed doing it, so it's not like it's a complete waste of time, but I do think, like, what is that going to look like when it's so much bigger? I'm not against it looking at it now. It just looks a lot looser. And I really liked how delicately knit the other one was. So, I don't know. But that is my whip at the moment. I skeined up half of it into a ball and then the other half, mainly because actually the ball flew off my yarn winder when I was doing it, so I had to break it and start again. But yeah, that's where I'm at with my knitting at the moment. I'm probably not going to pick up my poet scarf for quite a while, maybe when I next go away on my own at the start of September, or when I finish this jumper, if I finish it early, I don't know. I think my son's waking up. But it's the kind of project where I need to focus. Now I'm going to try and share with you my quick sewing update before he wakes up too much. Hopefully I can. Sorry if you hear some talking about diggers in the background. So really quickly then, I wanted to share with you this little sewing project. I thrifted a linen long sleeve shirt for him that I've really enjoyed him wearing. And I thought I would really like to make some for him in different sizes in my scrap leftover linens. I've got some black and white gingham linen that I really wanted to make him a long sleeve shirt out of, and it like buttons down at the back, but I didn't want to buy another pattern if I didn't need to. Someone suggested I tried to make a pattern off the back of that linen shirt, but without taking it apart because of the like arm size situation. I didn't know how to do that. I don't have those skills yet. I could have easily have worked out the front and the back, but that was trying to do the shape of the arm was too much. It wasn't the same as this. I then remembered I have the garden jumpsuit pattern by Red Creek Designs, which is a sleeveless and long sleeve baggy jumpsuit. So I thought I will try and use that because it's a sleeved jumpsuit, but it's got a cropped body. So I looked at the pattern pieces and I lengthened the body and I took some of the width out of the body. So like, I think it sort of comes out at an angle because it's a jumpsuit. So I made it more straight down. It does have a bit of an angle, but it was more straight. And then I drastically lengthened it. And then I added some onto the back to make plackets because it's got a like keyhole opening at the back. And so that would go down to the waist seam. So I just made it a bit, so obviously I lengthened the back as well and I added a bit of width on so I could make a proper button placket. And I, on the inside, I French seamed the whole thing. And so obviously you can see here I folded back to do the plackets and I used bias binding to do the neck. They suggest you make bias binding, but I couldn't be bothered, so I just did that. And I'm really pleased with how it turned out. So I used a bed sheet that I dyed, and so it's quite crispy and tough. But I think it looks really sweet, so I am quite pleased with it. And this means because I've got this pattern, I think it goes up to age 6 or 7 or something, I can make him shirts using the same approach from like the next few years. So next on my list, and it's got these little cute wooden buttons down the back, and I put an age label in. So next on my list is to use my leftover black and white gingham linen to make him another little shirt. And he will wear these now in the summer when it's warm, but also in the winter because he has lots of wool thermal underlayers. So you can wear those, one of these, and then a jumper on top. We both wear linen and cotton all year round because we both have some really nice thermal layers that we can wear under things. So that's not a problem. I know it's not a waste to make him a linen long sleeve even at this point in the year. And the last thing I was going to try and share, sorry this is getting a bit rushed, I can hear him talking so he's going to want me to go get him soon, is I'm umming and ahhing what to do with this. So I've got a metre of pale pink and yellow gingham linen from Merchant & Mills. It's called the Wes, and I'm thinking about making another pair of shorts. In my last vlog, or the one before, I shared that I'd made, I think it was my favourite summer patterns vlog actually, I shared that I'd made some gingham shorts using the Meg linen by Merchant & Mills. I only had 0.6 metres, so it was like an absolute mission trying to fit that in on the fabric I had. And I made the chanterelle shorts. And so I was thinking about making another pair, but a bit longer, because I love my shorts, but they are short. And so I did think about lengthening and making another pair, and then maybe like a matching cropped sleeveless top. But I never wear matched tops and bottoms, even if I do have 1 or 2 matching sets. I just don't wear them because to me it veers too close to pyjama look. So I don't know, do I do that? Do I make just a long sleeve linen top, a bit like this for myself? I'd have to find the pattern, don't have one, unless I did this but made the sleeves longer somehow. I don't know what to make. It does appear the summers here are getting hot more often. I wouldn't have said last year or the year before that there was much point me having multiple pairs of summer shorts, but now I'm realising that that is the future for us. The summers are getting hotter more often. We keep having a couple of days where it's 30 degrees, which is very hot for us. And I know a few people have said to me before, that's not actually very hot. It is when your country is not prepared for it. Like, there's no shade in our playgrounds. There's tarmac everywhere. Like, the playgrounds radiate heat. No one's got air conditioning. Some of the houses are not built very well for staying cool. This room never gets warm, which is great. My son won't sleep anywhere other than his own bed. So his bedroom got to something like 32 degrees and he went really weird in the heat, to the point where I nearly had to take him to hospital. It was very scary, but we did manage to cool him down and he was okay. But we're just not equipped for it. Ran over. Things need to be done, but we're not going to discuss that in this video. So maybe another pair of shorts is a good idea. I have just thrifted some gingham linen shorts, so it would be 3 pairs. Is 3 pairs excessive? I don't know. I was thinking, bougie pyjamas for summer, but I've got to be honest, when it gets that hot, I just wear a t-shirt to bed and my underwear. I don't wear shorts to bed when it gets that hot. So maybe that's pointless. I don't know. So if you have any thoughts, long sleeve linen summer top or shorts? I don't know. What do you think? If I wanted to have less of this one and more of the Meg linen. The Meg linen was green and blue because I wanted to have leftovers to make something for my son from the other one. And though I don't agree that there's boys' colours and girls' colours, realistically, I'm not going to put him in pink and yellow gingham. If it was yellow and white, I would. But in real life, this is very much pale pink. So I just wouldn't reach for it because all of his clothes are greens and browns and earthy colours. So this probably would not have the right look. Probably I am reinforcing gender stereotypes by saying things like that. But, I'm going to use the fabric for me. So yeah, let me know what you think I could make with this. Sorry if this was a bit of a strange, chaotic. I was trying to be slow and more mindful, and now my little one is talking to me. So I need to go and get him up and sort his lunch out and have a bit of a tidy up. I hope you guys are doing well. A few people supported me recently on Ko-fi, so I just wanted to say thank you very much. I am trying to save up for a better editing setup. That is quite a long-term goal because saving up for a computer or whatever would be expensive. But if you did want to support the channel on Ko-fi, links are below, and I do appreciate all the support that's sent my way. Thank you very much. That's all from me today. I hope you guys are doing well, and do share with me your favourite summer sewing patterns because I'm very interested. I would like to be doing a lot more sewing than I'm doing at the moment, but life is what it is, and it's going quite well at the moment, just very busy. If you are contemplating renovating a house and having a small child at the same time, I would say don't do it unless you absolutely have to. It's not the thing that I recommend, not if you value sanity. But yeah, so busy, but lovely at the same time. Yeah, so I'm going to let you go. And I think my next video is going to be sharing my trip to London and seeing the Outlander costumes, because I filmed all of that. It's just going to take me some time putting it together. So if you also loved Outlander, or you like historical costumes and textures and lovely shapes and fabrics, then you will enjoy that too, because it was fascinating, and I'm really sad I can't go back. I'd love to go again, but it's finished now. All right, thank you very much, and speak soon.